How to surrender to the process, how to trust God and divine timing, that everything's going to work out, that you're exactly where you need to be. So there's two main steps that I have prepared for you guys. And the first thing that I want to go over is overcoming the fear of failure. So I wrote it on this board. Okay. We'll start over there. Overcome fear of failure. Okay. So the whole reason why we do not trust is because we have a fear, right? The whole reason why, if you're doing those trust falls with your friends and you're like, you're looking back, you're like nervous, you're like, is Sally gonna drop me? Okay. Sally, are you gonna drop her or not? And it's because we have a fear. The fear of falling, the fear of it not working out. So you want to overcome this fear of failure. And I like to say pretty often to my clients a pretty standard quote that there is no such thing as failure, there's only winning and learning. Every time that you have an opportunity, like every time you fail, every time that something doesn't go right and it doesn't go as you planned or whatever, okay? It's an opportunity for growth, it's an opportunity for learning. So we want to stop letting fear get in the way of your progress. Right? Imagine if I never fell. Like, let's say doing that trust fall was me starting a business, or was me starting this YouTube channel, or was you approaching somebody that you want to, I don't know, talk to. If you never do that, you'll never know, did it work out? So overcome this fear of failure. This is a simple phrase, but there's different levels and parts to this. Overcoming means you do not, this doesn't have power over you, you have power over the fear. Okay? You're overcoming it. It's no longer in control of you. Okay? You're in control of those thoughts, those feelings. So that's the first part, overcome. Fear. You have a fear, you're like worried about something. You're uncertain. You're unsure. Okay? You're overcoming this uncertainty of failure. But we just went over what is failure? It's just an opportunity for growth. So you're fearing opportunity for growth. When you put it into perspective, it sounds a little bit almost silly. Because you're like, okay, well, there's only one way it can go from this is up, which is it's gonna go well and you're gonna grow from this, you're gonna learn from this, or it's an opportunity for you to like opportunity for you to learn something new, grow from this, which I just said another one I meant to say. It's either you win and the outcome that you wanted happened, or you either lose and you lose, but it's actually an opportunity for growth. Okay? And another thing I want to mention, and this is actually what sparked the entire video, is there's somebody out there that has less knowledge, less talent, and less experience that is doing or pursuing your goals, your lifestyle, better than you. Only because of one factor, and it's because they don't have fear, they don't have self-doubt. And I almost want you to kind of meditate upon this and think about it deeply and think, how would I feel if somebody stepped into my life and ran it better than me? It's like a rude awakening where you're just like, okay, well, this kind of puts things into perspective that I could be doing a lot more than I'm doing. Or I could be taking more risks than I'm doing. Not that you're not doing enough, it's more so you're not. Like, how would you be acting if you had no fear of failure? That's something to journal upon. I would love to know after you guys journal upon this, like how you guys feel about this in the comments below. If you were to journal upon, what would your life look like if you acted without fear? If you didn't have fear of failure, how would your life look? This is a really deep question that can evoke a sense of motivation that maybe you never had before. And just this realization that other people with less talent, with less knowledge, or less experience could run your life better than you, or are doing more things in the goals that you have, or pursuing these goals, or they're making money out of the things that you want to be doing, but you feel like, oh, I don't know enough, or I don't have this confidence of doing this, or oh, I'm not good enough for this exact thing. Other people are doing it and they have less experience than you, less talent, and less knowledge. So it's something to kind of open your eyes with. Um, and that kind of sparked the idea for this. It's really just to show how powerful this fear of failure can be for your life, and how pivoting it could be. So I love to put that in perspective. So stop giving yourself time to doubt. Okay? When you get an idea, act on it. The reason why we delay things and we lose our ideas or we lose motivation is because we are idle. We'll get an idea, we have this motivation, but maybe we're in the middle of something else. We already have a plan. That wasn't in the plans for today. But allowing yourself to, this is part of the process of surrendering and saying, okay, I'm gonna repivot this and I'm gonna like abandon what I was doing already. Like maybe I was watching a movie and I got a super amazing idea. So let's just like, we can just abandon what we're doing. We can literally just pause it for a second, okay? And let's go actually take action on this idea that we have. This, whatever it may be. This is the process of surrendering. Not having to be like in control of everything. You have a plan set up for your day. Usually I do too. Like you guys know I love journaling and I love talking about planning your day the night before and writing a list out. I love lists, I love notebooks. Okay? But if I feel like, okay, I need to make a change like throughout my day, I'll feel like, okay, I want to take my day in a different direction. Or if I have a week ahead of me where I plan this, this, and this, and I feel like, okay, I feel this change of heart that I want to take it in a different direction, or I feel these new ideas coming and I want to actually act on them, then I have to put things that I had planned on the back burner for now. Because if you don't act on these things, you're allowing the act of idleness, and you're allowing the act of thinking too much, or being in all up in your head, wanting to control everything, invade this process and ruin the process of growth. So I know this is the most like, maybe this is a deep example, or it's just like very like convoluted, but I hope it really makes sense because this is very important. Okay? We're so worried about the outcome, and we're so in our minds of in needing to control everything, we're not surrendering to the process. Okay? So this is number 2 on my list, is to stop worrying about the outcome. Stop worrying about did you cross everything off on your to-do list, and think what's actually necessary. I can write so many things on my to-do list, things I want to get done for the next week, maybe the next month, maybe the next whatever, next quarter, whatever. And if I want to pivot that, if I want to throw things out, if I want to just discard some things on my to-do list, or if I feel like, is this actually bringing value to my life? If I actually evaluate this and I reflect upon things on my to-do list, and if I really ask myself deeper questions. Is this actually going to bring me closer to the goals that I have, the vision that I have for myself, the version of myself I want to reach? If I can reevaluate that and eliminate some things, this will help me all the more. Rather than wanting to control everything and wanting to be like, it has to be this way because I said it was going to be this way, or I wanted it to be this way. There's a beauty and there's an art in just surrendering to the process, letting these things go, trusting in God. People have such a hard time trusting in God. I want you to start like genuinely acting in your life as if, not as if, but believing the belief that God would not take something away from you that is meant for you, that's meant to be in your life. So that's the beauty of trusting in the process, trusting God, not having to control everything. There's such a beauty to that. If you guys are just entering, watch the full live. Um, this all runs down to you're thinking too much and you want to control too much. So that's the biggest problem here. You're thinking too much. We cannot understand plans for us. We can't understand the reasons why things are happening the way they're happening. Think back to like a time in your life where something negative happened or something bad that you viewed as bad in the moment, and you ended up realizing that it was like the best thing that could ever happen to you. There's so many occasions where this happened to me. So many occasions. Like all the times we always think that we know best for ourselves. We know what we should be doing. We know the direction. Like it's just literally those images where they show like your plan versus God's plan for you. It's so much bigger. It's so much greater. It's so much, maybe it's different than what you envision for yourself. So there's a difference between having a vision for yourself and having a dream version of yourself and pursuing that, and then surrendering to the process when you see this pivoting or where you see a change of heart, a change of direction. Surrendering to that, allowing that process to take place. Don't be in resistance to so much, like, don't have so much resistance to change. Allowing yourself to change direction, allowing yourself to not have control over everything. And a lot of the times we are so comfortable in control, and trust in the process and surrendering is uncomfortable because we find safety and control. We find safety in knowing that we can control these things, we can control these outcomes. A really good journaling practice that I've done recently was figuring out what makes something a safe place in my life. And when you figure out and ask yourself what makes this a safe place, you realize it's because you have control over that situation. But then that goes to show how unstable control or safety is in your life. If you have to have control over the situation for you to feel safe, then safety can be easily disrupted. So, this is how you can kind of change the perspective there and just realize that you're really limiting yourself. Having to control everything is, as much as it is limiting, it's also very tiring. It's exhausting to need to control everything. It's exhausting to not have to just let things happen and to just surrender. You obviously do your part, do the actions that you need to get to the place that you need to be at. But when there's only so much you can do and then the rest God does. This is the part of surrendering. Surrendering to whatever outcome or whatever changes and deviations happen. Not so much deviations, but pivots. Okay. Trying to find more synonyms for those words. And practicing having more faith. People want to have more faith in themselves, more faith in God, but how are you practicing those things? When's the last time something didn't go your way and you had faith anyways? So that's another thing to journal upon. I always bring up journaling, but that's another really big journaling prompt is when's the last time something did not go your way and you surrendered and had faith anyways? Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys a story of a Chinese farmer. This is quoted by Alan Watts, and I once when I heard this quote, I was like, this is really interesting. This is like the side of philosophy that I really like, which is like the Stoic philosophy, Marcus Aurelius type of the realm of philosophy. So this is the story of the Chinese farmer. So once upon a time there was a Chinese farmer whose horse ran away. That evening all of his neighbors came around commiserate. They said, "We are so sorry to hear your horses run away. This is most unfortunate." The farmer said, "Maybe." The next day, the horse came back, bringing 7 wild horses with it. And in the evening, everybody came back and said, "Oh, isn't that lucky? What a great turn of events. You now have 8 horses." The farmer said, again, "Maybe." The following day, his son tried to break one of the horses. And while son tried to break one of the horses, and while riding it, he was thrown and broke his leg. The neighbors then said, "Oh dear, that's too bad." And the farmer responded, "Maybe." The next day, the conscription officers came around to conscribe people into the army, and they rejected his son because he had a broken leg. Again, all the neighbors came around and said, "Isn't that great?" Again, he said, "Maybe." The whole process of nature is an integrated process of immense complexity, and it's really impossible to tell whether anything that happens in it is good or bad, because you never know what will be the consequence of the misfortune, or you never know what will be the consequence of good fortune. So this is kind of like a passage or quoted by Alan Watts, and that was kind of his, like, I guess, make of it at the end. And it just goes to show you that viewing things as negative or positive is so destructive, because things don't look as they are. They don't seem as they are. When the rain pours, it looks sad, but it's not actually sad. It's watering the grass. It's watering the plants so that we can all live and the plants can be alive. If you don't have not a lot of rain, you can have forest fires and it's just too dry, and there goes your, like, you, everything is in balance and everything doesn't look as it actually is. So to just have events in your life pop up and for you to just label them as negative or positive, bad or good, helpful or unhelpful, there's helpful habits that you can do, and this is one of them, like to obviously view things in a more productive lens. But the circumstance in your life should be viewed in a neutral lens, where it's not what happens to you, it's what you do with what happens to you. It's not the time that has gone past, but it's what you do at the time. So it's, mindset is everything. That's why I'm even a mindset coach, because I believe to my core that mindset is everything, and mindset can take you everywhere. Mastering your mindset, mastering your emotions, mastering your reactions, responses to situations and circumstances. And I think the most important thing out of everything at the end of the day is your intention. And if your intention is good and pure, then continue to do the work that you're doing. And you can have goals in mind. Obviously, I love goals, but trust the process, surrender to the process, surrender to God, trust God, have faith in God, and you will see that life doesn't impact you the way it did before. You don't take things as personal as you did before. Your mood doesn't change at a negative circumstance. You don't allow something small to impact your day or your week. This is where, like, inner strength comes. This is where inner strength, inner mastery comes. It's from viewing things in a different light, in a different way. So also let me know what other live topics you guys want me to cover. One thing about lives on YouTube is I think it's important to schedule them like ahead of time. So I want to know like what topics you guys want me to talk about, and I'm gonna do more regular lives. Um, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this live. I like to just view it as a video, but I like the fact that it's live because um I can talk to you guys. Again, this is just an overview of what we talked about. Overcome the fear of failure. Okay? Overcome it. You're now greater than the fear. Failure. You're just dissipating, melting away the failure. There's no such thing as failure. It's just an opportunity for growth. Let it melt away. Overcome it. Don't let this fear be in control of you. You're in control of this. Okay? Number 2, as much as you are in control of this fear, it allows you to now release control. Letting go of control, letting go of control is almost regaining control. You have to regain control to let go of control. Having control over your reactions, having control over your emotions, having control over your fear, knowing that it doesn't overcome you, you overcome it. So now it's kind of behind you, it's kind of past you. Now you're able to fully surrender. Because what's stopping you from surrendering in the first place, like I mentioned with that like falling back example with the friend, the trust fall, is you keep looking back, you're not able to surrender because you have a fear. Once you overcome that fear, you're able to surrender and trust. Once you understand, it's actually not that bad, even if I do fall, even if I do, like, even if this doesn't go well, or I fall through, she doesn't catch me, or whatever. The trust fall, you know. But trusting that you'll learn a lesson. Either maybe you'll learn that that person's not your friend. Maybe you'll learn that, I don't know, you'll learn that the ground is not that hard and you'll be fine. Whatever you learn, go back to that like Chinese farmer example, the story that I gave. Like it's like a whatever happens, if you do fall, be like, and then someone says, "Oh, that's so unfortunate." Maybe you're holding this belief in your mind, like maybe, I don't know, maybe this causes you a fracture that makes you go to an X-ray or an MRI where you discover something else more harmful in your body, something that like needed your attention, but you wouldn't have known if you didn't get this X-ray for this fracture. So you never know the outcome of something. So when you first trust and you overcome the fear of failure, then you're able to fully surrender and trust the process. And then going into number 2, we said to stop worrying about the outcome. Stop worrying about the outcome. In a different light, we can mention this as you're so attached to the outcome, you're so attached to the result, you're so attached to, I always talk about the number on the scale. Did you lose the weight? You're not attached to the process. You're not getting lost in the process. Surrendering to the process of health, wellness, healthy habits, just engaging in a healthier lifestyle, right? You want to get lost in that lifestyle in the process and enjoy the journey instead of just like so much focus on the destination, so much worry about where am I going to be next. Sometimes you see this with like friends or family where you're hanging out with them and you've been waiting to hang out and now they're focused on what they're going to do after this, or they're going to focus on what they're going to do tomorrow. Then tomorrow comes and then they're focused on what they're going to do the next day. They're never actually enjoying the journey. They're just focused on the outcome, the result, or what's next. This is like no presence, right? The most important thing is presence and mindfulness, staying in the present moment and just worrying about what's happening right now. Not worrying, but enjoying what's happening right now. Being just present in the present moment, present in the now. Okay, so that goes to the main theme of this is that you're thinking too much. Okay, you're thinking too much. I'm gonna literally circle it. You're thinking too much. You're over complicating it. You're wanting to control too much. The reason why this is so harmful is because you can just be stuck in this loop of thinking, this stuck in this loop of not action, like no action, this loop of inaction because you're paralyzing yourself with doubt. It goes back to this the the point I told you about there's people that have less experience, less knowledge, and less talent than you, and they're doing more in a category that you want to be in, like you want to be successful in. There's so many people that are doing this. You ever enter a job and you're like, wait, there's no way this guy got the job. You know what I mean? Not to be negative, but like you're just thinking like, I feel like I really tried in the interview or whatever, and then you go into the job and you're like, there's no way this person also got the job. Like, how did they get it? Not in a jealousy type way, but just more so like, wow, it might be more so self-belief than it is actual skills. You'll see this in the workplace, you'll see this in school, like you'll see this maybe more so in the workplace, but just in general in life, like it's a lot more to do with just audacity and a lack of self-doubt. This like full energy person of self-belief, this person that has like no regard for their small worries, the person that like worry comes and just bounces right off them. Those are the people that you're gonna see that are like, wow, there's no way, like, how did they get there, right? Think about the people that are in the most powerful positions, whether in business or in politics, and you're thinking like, what did this person do to get here? And realizing that it really has to do with just like this overwhelming sense of just like faith, taking the leap anyways, even when you feel scared. And I mentioned this in a lot of my videos, like even if you do feel scared, even if you feel like you have this fear of failure, it's hard for you to overcome it. Obviously, this is not all going to be done in one day. You can't just overcome something in a matter of hours, or days. But even if you do feel that way, like I mentioned, act like it anyways. It's like feel the fear and do it anyways. Fake it till you make it, right? We always talk about that. So that is, I think, if you can actually really take this advice and really apply it to your life, also journal upon where can I use this in my life? Where in my life am I letting my reactions, my emotions, my perceptions hold me back? It's definitely slowing you down in one aspect or one area or another, maybe multiple. And it takes just asking yourself this simple question, ask yourself better questions. So journal upon the things that we mentioned and let me know in the comments how it goes for you guys. And thank you guys for watching.